Hello, my name is Steve Hoffman. I am so happy to be here today talking about 环球网。
各位观众朋友，大家好，非常开心，今天环球网非常荣幸的重磅邀请到我们的 Steve Hoffman， 他是硅谷著名的创投人。那他现在在中国的这段期间，接触了非常多的创业家，非常多创业家也都急着想要抓住他，赶快问他许多跟创业相关的问题。而且他的背景非常的奇妙，他以前是在好莱坞工作。然后呢，他经过不断的连续创业的经验，然后到现在，他帮助了非常多的创业公司成功的创立。所以呢，今天我们也是通过这样子的一个机会，可以来听听他跟我们分享一些精彩的内容。那我们一起来欢迎 Steve Hoffman. Hi, you can say hi to our friends.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hello. How's it going? Great to be here today.
Yes. Okay, so maybe we can let's start our first question. So how do you think about the ecosystem and the environment for the startups in Beijing and Silicon Valley? Could you compare their strengths and weakness?
Okay. So Silicon Valley has a very robust ecosystem. We've been doing startups for a long time.
Yes.
We have a long history of startups.
Yes.
We have strong venture capital community,
Yes.
strong angel investors, lots of high quality incubators and accelerators,
Yes.
and lots of tech companies from around the world.
Yeah.
So it's very mature. China has grown very quickly. So it went from almost nothing, in a few years to a pretty big ecosystem. It's amazing what's happened in China. So I've never seen a country change that fast. So Chinese, when they focus on something, it happens, right?
Yeah.
If they want a building here, the building goes up. A road here, the road goes up.
Yeah, that's true.
Things happen very fast.
Yeah.
So my experience is Chinese entrepreneurs are very good. They are very strong entrepreneurs. They work extremely hard.
Yeah.
When they see an opportunity, they rush and get the opportunity.
Yes.
Really fast.
Yes.
The trouble China has had is China is very good at taking ideas from the outside,
Yes.
bringing them in,
Yeah.
and making them successful in China.
Yeah.
But China hasn't been as good at developing its own ideas and
Yeah.
taking those to the rest of the world.
Yes.
So that is an area where the Chinese ecosystem needs to improve.
Yeah.
And that is kind of my mission, being the head of Founder Space
Yes.
for being in China.
Yes. Yes. So how do you help them to develop this culture?
So a big part of what I'm doing here is my company is Founder Space,
Yes.
and I am the CEO, and we have set up operations in Shanghai
Yes.
where we are actually training entrepreneurs. So we are working with them one-on-one on their business model innovation, their product innovation, their go-to-market strategy, all the things and the methods we use in Silicon Valley to really innovate. We are also expanding across China. So I travel all over China,
Yes.
giving lectures and teaching courses and working with startups in Beijing, here in Beijing, in Shenzhen, Hangzhou,
Yeah.
Chengdu, Wuhan, all
Yeah.
across China.
Yeah.
And my mission is to really educate startups,
Yeah.
founders, on how to innovate. So
To change their
to
thinking.
change their mindset, to change how they approach innovation. And that is a big reason I wrote my book,
Oh, yeah.
Making Elephants Fly.
Yes.
It's about the process of radical innovation. And radical innovation is breakthrough innovation. That's where you don't copy an idea and make it better. What you do is you come up with a totally new idea and you create a whole new market and change the industry.
Yeah.
So it's that type of innovation
Yeah.
that we need to see more of in China.
Yeah. Wow. So the most thing you think we have to change in our mind, what is that?
So a lot of Chinese are used to the idea, because it works in China, is
Yes.
go for the quick money, right?
Yes.
You see an opportunity, it's good money, and you go and you grab it, and you make money as fast as you can.
Yes.
while you can, right? And then you move to the next idea.
Yeah.
In Silicon Valley, we take a different approach. So right now, Silicon Valley is so competitive that by the time you copy an idea, it's usually too late.
Yeah.
There's usually so many other people who have the same idea
Yes.
that you can't catch up.
Yeah.
You're too far behind, so you don't make money.
Yes.
So in Silicon Valley, if we could copy ideas from the outside and bring them in, we would. We would copy ideas because copying is a great business model. It's you know the idea works, right?
Yeah.
So the hard part is done. Now you bring it in and you
Yes.
just grow it
Yes.
in your market. The problem is we can't do that, so we innovate. In China, historically, copying works. You take an idea from any part of the world, from Silicon Valley, bring it in,
Yeah.
and if you're in the early days, it was very easy. There wasn't much competition. You know, Jack Ma and Pony Ma, they could take an idea, bring it into China, and quickly grow a new business.
Yeah.
The problem now is there are so many entrepreneurs in China that if you go and copy the idea, so are 100 other startups. They're all copying the same idea.
So you cannot survive.
Unless you're lucky, right?
Yeah.
Because there's so
Yeah,
much
unless you're lucky,
competition.
yes.
So more and more Chinese entrepreneurs will have to figure out if they really want to succeed,
Yes.
they'll have to figure out how to innovate. And innovating is like this. When everybody's going this direction, look at after the obvious idea, you have to go this direction.
Yes.
You have to go after an idea that isn't obvious, an idea that nobody has thought of yet. And because of that, it's not clear that you'll even make money. It's not clear what the end goal is. So it's kind of scary because you're like going around in the dark trying to figure out which ideas work and which don't. And that takes more time and more uncertainty. But the payoff is bigger. When you figure out that idea before anybody else, boom, you can not only grow a big business in China, but you have the potential to take that out to the rest of the world. And that is the potential that China has right now.
So if they think in this way and they easily just get things go through.
It's not easy. It's very hard to innovate. That's why I call my book Making Elephants Fly. Because it's like innovating as hard as getting an elephant off the ground. But if you can figure out how to do it, it's very powerful. But it's not easy. It's a process. You have to experiment with many different ideas. Oh, if I tried this technology, would it work? Oh no. If I tried this, would it work? If I innovated on the business model, would it work? Many, many tries, many, many failures before you figure out something that really works.
Wow, that's interesting. So, as you mentioned before, Chinese environments more copy to other companies. Besides this, could you? What do you think about is the biggest strength and also weakness for Chinese entrepreneurs?
The biggest weakness for Chinese entrepreneurs is to go after the quick money, to go after obvious goal. If you know you'll make money there, if you're sure you'll make money, so is everybody else, right? Everybody knows they'll make money and everybody's trying that, right? So the challenge for Chinese entrepreneurs is to go where you don't know if you'll make money. You can't even see what will happen, but you think using this new technology, there's something interesting you can do in that space, and you will figure it out. That's what we do in Silicon Valley, that mindset. We're going to go here because nobody else is going there, and we think we can figure something out, but we aren't sure. The great strength of Chinese entrepreneurs is they move fast. Like with Mobike and Ofo, you know, overnight, like I'm in China, overnight, bikes everywhere. They move fast. So when a Chinese entrepreneur comes up with a good idea, they can execute very well, very quickly, and they can capture the market. That is a great skill. So when I'm in China, I see the entrepreneurs are extremely competitive, which means like foreign companies coming into China, it's very hard for them because Chinese entrepreneurs are so competitive and so fast. And Chinese entrepreneurs have an opportunity now to go outside China, but they do have to have new ideas, right? They can't go out with an old idea because it won't work. So they can move very fast, but they still need to innovate if they're going to go beyond the borders of China.
Yes. You said they have to foresee and then go to the place they haven't been. And I think it needs faith because you haven't seen it happen. You haven't seen the result. So how do you help people have that faith and overcome their fear to fear the failure?
Yes.
Yeah.
So what I always say is doing anything innovative is always at a high risk of failure.
Yeah.
Because if you're doing something
Yeah.
and making something the world has never seen before,
Yes.
then it's a high risk, right? The chance, if nobody's ever tried it before, you will probably fail many times before
Yeah.
you figure it out.
Yeah.
So you have to understand that innovation and failure are part of the same process. They are part of the same process. You can't innovate without a high risk of failure. They go together like this.
Yeah.
So if you're going to innovate, you're going to fail many times. If you don't want to innovate, you still may fail. But and also the payoff is smaller, and you'll be because there's so much competition. Your product will work, but then you have another problem, which is how do you compete against everybody?
Yeah.
So my advice to Chinese entrepreneurs is if you really want to innovate, if you want to change the world in a positive way and bring things into the world that really change how business is done, change how we live our lives, then you have to go down the innovation path.
Yeah.
But not every entrepreneur has to do that. There's still room to copy, right? That is a fine, like I said, copying is fine. We need some of both, right?
Yes.
Even in Silicon Valley, people copy, people do this and that. It's fine.
Yeah.
But more and more in the future, as globalization connects the world and the companies move all around the world very quickly, innovation becomes more critical to actually create the type of billion-dollar businesses that venture capital wants to invest in.
Yeah, thank you. Some people have good business model, but they are not good leaders.
Yes.
So how do you usually help them?
So to be a good leader is one of the hardest things in the world. And most managers are not good leaders. I mean, most people aren't good leaders. Most entrepreneurs actually succeed despite themselves. And in China especially. So China is a very hierarchical society. It's a society throughout history that has been built on what the boss says is right. Do what the boss says, make the boss happy, and you will succeed. Well, and the boss expects the employee not to come back and say, I don't know about this, I don't think you're right. Boss, well, what are you talking about? I'm right. I told you to do that. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear you tell me I'm not right. So that's China in general. Of course, there are exceptions to the rule.
Yeah, I understand.
In America, why we're so innovative is we don't do that, especially in Silicon Valley. It's very different culture. In Silicon Valley, we're always challenging. I don't think that's right. I don't care if you're my boss. Like, this is like not the thing I would do. And the boss, a good boss, will listen and say, well, go prove it to me. Go out there. Come on, figure it out. If you can show me I'm not right, we'll go your direction. Instead of, no, you're challenging my authority. You're undercutting me, So great bosses, if you really want to innovate, if you just don't want to manage something, if you just manage something that you already know works, then you can be authoritarian. You can be top down. Just listen to me. And if you're good at managing, if you know your business, everybody do what you say, you're fine. But if you really want to come up with something new, you need to give your employees room to question. So in my book, like Making Elephants Fly, I go deep on how to manage employees for innovation, how to get them to actually become entrepreneurs inside your company.
我们今天真的非常非常的有收获，就是听到Steve Hoffman 跟我们分享创业者怎么样子成功面对商业模式，怎么样子去进取跟追求。我相信各位观众朋友今天一定是相当的满满的有收获。那我们非常谢谢他的分享，我觉得也鼓励大家可以去看那本书，让大象飞，Let the Elephant Fly.
Yes.
Yeah, 我相信这本书就是会给大家，就是大家想要知道更多的话，这本书会给大家非常多的启发。那就谢谢今天大家一起收看环球网志想家。